All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my Thursday live. I see I have sound. I was having a few little issues, as you could probably tell by the little intro. So I'm just gonna crank up my phone to see if I can hear as this goes live, just to make sure we have sound. Hello everyone. And it sounds like we do. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes until we get some people popping in. I'm having a little moment with technology. You know, technology is and isn't our best friend. So I'm about ready to go live 20 minutes ago, turn everything on, and no cameras. None whatsoever. Can't figure it out. I was having issues the last couple of days with my keyboard and my little router thing I have, and I think my router's been fried. So I'm frantically plugging things in, trying to get things to work. And then I'm like, now my sound, and I can't get anything to play for music. So anyway, that is my story for this little freak out moment here. So tonight, I am going a little later than I probably normally would. I just thought I'm going to try a little different time and see if we get some people to pop in. So I am going to do some reverse coloring, and I see some people like waiting. I'm not sure if we've got people in or not. It's showing one person waiting, and that actually might be myself, so I'm not sure. And we're going to do some reverse coloring. And if you don't know what reverse coloring is, it is coloring everything outside the lines, not inside the lines. So I know that title was probably like, what's reverse coloring and what's he gonna do? So I had this idea as I was doing some coloring, and actually during my last video I did some watercoloring, and then I thought, what would this look like on the other side of the lines and outside the lines? And so I googled it, and actually it is a thing. It's either called reverse watercoloring or negative watercoloring. And it's coloring outside those spaces. So that's what we're going to do with this evening. I thought we'd give it a try. I've got two samples that I did, one with my pan watercolors and one with my Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. And I'll show you those samples. We're going to use my pan watercolors this evening and see what we come up with. I'm using a brand new set as well. I'm using the Altenew Flora Inked Flora set to give that a try. So I'm going to go down to the down camera. We're going to get started. I'm going to show you everything I've got laid out and what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and let's just see if this works out with this stamp set. When I tried this, I used another Altenew stamp set, but it was a little bit more branchy than just a normal straight floral. So I'm going to do something slightly different. So let's just go down and take a look at what I got. And what I have is I'm using Canson XL watercolor paper. So I am using watercolor paper on this one. I've used both. I've used my Nina 110-pound cardstock. I've used watercolor paper. I'm going to use watercolor paper tonight because I want a true watercolor effect. Okay, so that's my paper. I just cut two in case I need a second one. My watercolor paper is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm gonna put this on my mat, which is my A2 size mat. So I'm doing 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I usually just go about 1/8 of an inch underneath that, so it fits inside my card nicely, but I still have a nice little border. Just straight black, so I get this color to pop. And let me show you what we're going to do. I'm kind of excited about this one, to be honest, because it's kind of cool, it's kind of different, and I'm saying this because I'm like these people, so it's no dog to people that are like this, but if this is kind of like, I'm not sure if I like that, why wouldn't you color inside the lines, color the flower, and now you're just leaving the stamp white? Yeah, it's forcing us outside of just a little bit of what this normally would look like, but you get this kind of effect. And I'll show you one of the samples. So this is my watercolor sample, and this is what we're going to go for. Everything outside the lines. This one I threw a little yellow because I couldn't resist the urge to have something inside the lines. We're not going to do that this evening, but I'm going to do the reverse on up my 2 layers, and I'll show you. All right, we're doing the Inked Flora, and this is a brand new set. I actually haven't even used this until tonight. So I'm super excited to use this. This did not come with the die cut. I think it was sold out, but I got the stamp set anyway because I really liked the large floral. because if I do watercolor this, we have a ton of space inside of these to watercolor or ink or whatever we want to do with, right? So I'm going to take and put the larger one on the bottom. I already pre-stamped and embossed this one so I can layer it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the negative on bottom and do the reverse on the outside. I'm going to actually color this one on top so I get both effects, and then just let it kind of bleed out. All right? So, and then here's that one that I've pre-stamped. I'm going to do this in gold embossing for both, because I don't want too much bleeding into this. And this one here, I started to get some bleeding. This one I was just really careful not to go inside the lines, and I did a little bit, which is fine. That's watercolor, right? So and I'm just going to go to my live chat so I can kind of watch the chat here and move my phone out of the way now. Sorry, I've not figured out how to do chat up on the screen yet. I'm getting there. Technology is not my best friend. So anyway, this one's done. We're going to watercolor this one. First, I'm going to let that dry to the side as I stamp and do what I want to do down here. All right? So we're going to start here. And what I want to do is I kind of want to do some purples and a pink and a yellow because I just like that combination. And so this one on the top, I want it kind of bright. I'm going to put my yellow on top and my pink and purple on the bottom. So we're just going to wash this out with yellow. And I'm going to do probably 2 layers so I get a nice washed look. And then I'll relayer it and do a little bit of accenting in there. But watercolors, you got to kind of layer up to do that. Okay? Brush. I know everybody kind of goes like, what brush should I use and what's best. So this set, I got it on Amazon. Tim Holtz was using this exact set, and I loved what was happening with it, so I bought the same set. I think his is black though and clear. They're mop style is what they're called. So you can kind of see that they're kind of a fatter to the point. They soak up a ton of water. So these ones are going to hold a lot of water, and I like that, especially when I do kind of a wash kind of effect. All right. But for the wash, I'm just going to blend that out. I'm going to go a little thinner when I start doing my accenting. So I'm just going to go down in size. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wet this down. I'm going to wet out my yellow, and I'm actually going to probably go pretty bright because I'm going to accent with just maybe more of a sunflower kind of look. Then we'll get on to the reverse portion of that and show you what we're going to do. So this one is just going to be kind of your normal watercolor kind of thing, right? I just want to get a good soaking on here, and then we're going to blend this out. Get this wet up. So I see a couple of you. Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday evening, Thirsty Thursday. So I'm just washing this out. I just want a yellow flower because I'm going to accent this with other stuff, okay? And now I'm just going to dry this. Oh, hang on, it dropped. I got to get off the floor. All right. So just dry this out. So I don't want to dab this off and take up too much color. So I'm going to dry this out. Hello, 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 Jim Eber. Hello, Melissa. Welcome, you guys. You might have missed it at the beginning. I had a little chaos here at the beginning, y'all, with technology, and then I started freaking out, going, I'm going to have to put a note and say I can't do this live, I can't get my cameras to turn on, and then I couldn't get the music to work. But we're here. We just went with it. I really kind of wanted to do this kind of later, just to see what we'd get for people, and I've been having kind of a week at work, and I didn't know if I'd get out on time to get home in time to do something earlier, so let's just do a little something later. I've been kind of dying to do this technique and put it on camera. I've practiced it one time, so again, this is one of those things. It's not normal. Okay, it's not going to be your normal kind of watercolor because we're not doing all of this inside the line stuff. All right. Now I'm just going to take my thinner brush. I'm going to go a little darker. I am not doing this in any shape or form, except I'm going to just kind of follow where I have my stamp already has some of this as the accent, and I'm just going to follow that, squiggle it on. This isn't perfection. All right, now I'm just going to kind of throw on where I want this darker stuff to be to give me my accent. And you can wash that out if you know, let's just blend some of that out. Just like so. Easy peasy. I mean, it's not, it's a fast paint by number kind of situation. I'm using my stamp as my guide and where I'm putting some of these accents. All right, I'm gonna leave this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna dry it. I want to add a third. I just want to add a quick third, I think. And then we'll let the rest of that dry as we do our, essentially our negative portion of this. I have to say, I am so addicted right now to Alta New. It's ridiculous. I just love their stamps and their florals and their designs. I just bought some, I don't have any, and I just bought some of their layering stencil ones to put on the flowers. Haven't tried it yet, but I just love them. They're just great quality and sets and designs. I'm going to throw just a tiny bit of orange into this, because I just felt like I wanted a little extra, and I could have left it, but I'm going to throw this on, and then I'm just going to dab this out. Give it just a little extra color in there. So anyway, I was saying, I've had a week, man. It's Thursday, and it feels like it's been a week that's been 2 weeks long. Lots of stuff going on at work, and it's just been crazy busy, all in a good way. Truly all in a good way. But man, oh man, it's been crazy. That's why I was like, I gotta do something. Let's go live. I gotta let the brain veg just a little bit. All right, I'm just moving stuff out of my way here. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stamp and emboss one. I am using, I think this is called Masking Magic. Yeah, I'm using the Gina K Masking Magic. I've only used this a couple times. This is the first time I've stamped something on it to cover up. I've done some strips. I've cut out like circles to do some like silhouette kind of stuff, but nothing on a stamp. So it's my first time doing it with a stamp. So I pre-stamped this, fussy cut it, and then I'm going to do one, cover it up, do the second one so it looks like it's sitting underneath, and then I'm going to do that with the leaves as well on this stamp set, just so I get that layering effect. And I'm going to emboss it. I'm going to put all this in gold. I was tempted to do yellow or blue embossing, and then I'm like, no, gold I think will look much nicer, a little bit more elegant, you know, against the watercolors, essentially. Move that out of the way. And I'm going, so there's on the Canson paper, one side's just a little textured, one side's a little smoother. I'm doing textured because I just want a little texture to my watercolor. Pick whichever side you want to do. It really truly doesn't matter. And I already know I'm going to do two, and then that one's going to be layered here in the corner. So I'm going to spread these out because this is kind of a big floral, actually. So I'm just going to spread this up to the top side here. I already know, I think I'm going to just do like a little simple, like sending love. I'm gonna do, I just want to leave room for my greeting here at the end. We're just gonna do with thanks. So my with thanks, and throw that kind of right in there. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so first one, we're gonna emboss this. Okay, so we're gonna use the Versamark and emboss it. Welcome, welcome. See a couple more of you popping in. Thank you for stopping by on the late Thursday evening. I'm usually on the couch by now, coloring or doing something, so I feel your pain if you're popping in going, oh, I'm just gonna pop in for a little bit. I just know it's a little late. All right, pop that on there. And once you get kind of your setup, like this is like my setup, but the coloring of this, it goes fast. This one here, it took me just a little longer because I did the green for the leaves and the pink for the flowers. So it just took me a tiny bit, but it goes pretty quick. All right, you can see I had some color on there, but that's okay because I'm going to emboss it anyway. And on this one, I'm using the Ranger ink Princess Gold. I just like this one. It's got a little bit more of a shine and shimmer to it. I didn't powder this just because I'm not too worried if I get little flecks on this one, to be honest. Besides my fingerprints. I got a couple fingerprints. We'll get those off. But if I get some flecks in here, I'm not too concerned about it. I just want my fingerprints off, though. Get some of the big chunks out of there. All right. Hopefully you guys can still hear me over the heat gun. So once I emboss this, I'm going to lay over the top of this then my masking magic. So I can stamp this one more time and get my florals in the corner there. Bada bing. Now I'm going to throw this way so I can fit my floral. I wonder if that'll just go automatically diagonalish. Nope, I gotta go over just a little bit. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go over. So alright, now I'm gonna mask this off. So I can get this one to come underneath of this one. We'll just find which direction I've got this sitting here. Just like so. I am extremely inexperienced with this layering stuff. I know it's not that difficult to figure out, but I don't do it very often. I'm just going to hold that down there. We're going to replace this one. I'm going to turn it just a little bit so I get a little bit different area of that flower. It's going to go popping out this way. And now I'm going to take this one is going to get popped up kind of in that corner. This is where I'm going with this. Okay. And embossing. So I'm still embossing. What are you addicted to right now? I'm kind of addicted to this watercoloring stuff, to be very honest. Right now, I get in these kicks. Like, I get in these kicks of, I want to get watercoloring down, then I'll move on to the next thing, and then I'll get the, I'm working on some mixed media stuff right now. So I get on these kicks. Watercoloring's kind of like, it's weird because you have to just go with what you get a little bit. It's not so perfect, but I'm just digging all this watercolor florals and different things right now. All right, again, I know there's black on there, but I'm covering it with gold anyway. Emboss this one. All right. This gold, this Princess Gold is super fine too, so it melts out pretty smooth. It's not too chunky, otherwise I'd probably heat it up from the back first, but it's not actually that chunky. Alright, I'm going to throw this aside. We're going to take this one off, and then there is my two florals. Okay, and actually I think I'm going to do my leaves for this one on top and have them sticking out there. So, alright, let's reverse watercolor this. The idea here is to take whatever color you were going to color it on the inside, like this, you're going to color it on the outside. Now you can do this as heavy as you want or as washed out blooming as they would call it in watercolor. So if you load this with water and then just dab your color in there and it blooms out, you can do that, or you can get it not quite so wet, draw this in and brush that out and get it a little heavier. I'm going to go a little bit in between because I don't want this too bloomy, and because I still want this kind of bright. I'm going for kind of bright on this card. I just want bright and cheerful. Okay, I'm going to use my smaller brush so that I can kind of get in next to my embossing on this. And we're going to go, I said pink, purple, and yellow. So I'm going to do a purple and I'm going to do a pink. I'm going to do my purple up here and my pink down here. I'm going to start with my pink so that if my purple bleeds into that pink, it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm just tracing my water where I want this color to go. You'll learn with watercolor, it's going to go, the color is going to go where you have that water. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go a little more bright and less shimmer. The ones next to it have a little more shimmer. Feel free to use your palette. You know, if you got to unload over here and pick up, go for it. Okay? Alright, here's the idea. I'm going to throw this in and pull that color out. And just dab that out. I'm just looking for a washy kind of feel here. Now keep in mind, I've got embossing powder here, so it's staying contained on the outside. It would, if you're going to get up close to that line, you may get a little wash with just using like VersaFine or some, a waterproof ink. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry a little bit because I'm going to throw a little bit extra on top of that. We're going to go just a little halvesy down here with my pink and halvesy with that purple. Because I'm going to dry that, I'm going to go a little heavy around that perimeter once I get this dry a little bit. So I want to dry this and finish off that pink. Oh, I missed a spot, didn't I? Get this little corner piece. A little too much water on there. Just like so. I'm going to dry that up. I'm going to throw one more layer on this. Same color. This is kind of like any other ink color, watercolor. As you layer it, it'll just get darker. It'll keep washing out as you keep the water on there, though. So just if I dry this down some, it'll get darker on me as I layer it. Alright, now I'm not going to load up a lot of water on this one because I want this to be a little darker. Alright. I'm going to trace around and just wash that out. Same on this edge, just I'm getting a little darker and I'm just going to blend that out. This side isn't so bad. One more shot on that, I think. Clean that off just a little bit. Pick up a little bit more, tiny bit of water with that, and layer that in again. And just wash that out. I'm going to throw a little bit to wash this off. There we go. That's where I'm going to leave that pink, I think. Now we'll go on to a purple. I'm going to do this, probably this, I think this more magenta-y kind of purple. I want to see what that looks like wetted out here. Let's just take a look. Oh yeah, that'll look good against that pink. Because this is so big, it's covering a lot of my card, so I'm kind of working to cover my card. This one was not so much because I had a much more delicate stamp, so I left some white space in there and did some splatter over it, which I'll probably do some splatter on this one too. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get this wet for my first layer, and I'll blend that out over into that pink, but I need that water to bloom it out. Alright. Dab that in there, and I just want that washy kind of effect. Run some of that off and dry it. And then I'm going to layer this probably once or twice again. It's similar to ink smushing, if you will, too. Because of the bleeding and different things, so just smush off what you need. You can wash back too, so if this gets too heavy for you, see if I can do this now that I've dried it, but if I want to wash some of this back, I can pull this off and you'll lighten that out, right? I could pull this off and dab that out. Okay? Alright, let me get a little more wet back in there so I can blend this out. My thought process on this was I wanted this to look like all the color bled out of the flowers and there was nothing left. Easy peasy. That's it. That's all there is to it, really. Because I have gold embossing, I'm not going to fleck it with gold emboss or gold. I'm going to do probably a little bit of black on here before I layer this out. just kind of softening out my line just a tiny bit there. Good and dry before I splatter this a little bit. Now, what else could you do with this, right? You could take one of these colors or a different color and slightly trace in here and leaving a lot of white space and just giving yourself some shadowing in there. Leave this. You could just go in here and maybe do some gold and blend out with gold or black and get the contrast. But I'm going for the white contrast on this with the watercolor on the edges there. All right, I want to speckle this with some white and some black. And what I do for mine is I use a very old cheap brush when I do mine. My white, I'm using the Amsterdam Titanium White Acrylic ink. I just like it because it's a nice bright white. And it doesn't take hardly any, so. Okay. Let's go and I'm going to do my gold here first. So let's just pick up my gold. So I'm going to fleck this out and then let it sit and dry as I finish the top stuff here. And it doesn't take hardly any, so. Okay. Let's go and keep it a little fancy in there. Okay, now I'm going to just do the same with some white. Dry that so they don't blend together. All right, let's throw a little white into that. Just like so. I'm going to just let this sit and dry. We'll probably give it a little blast here in a second if I need to. But I just want to move on to my leaves on this and do a couple leaves to throw with that top layer. Alright? So, this set has a couple different leaf designs on it. It's got just your normal kind of shape leaves and a little more branchy. I'm just going to do this more normal kind of leaf. And I have a scrappy kind of piece of my watercolor paper. And I'm just going to do the same thing with these. We're going to emboss. And keep this gold kind of theme going here. And I'm going to try to do 3. Without messing them up, so I can get them done in one swoop here. Like so. Alright. Let's emboss these and coloring exactly the same kind of style. fingerprints all over. All right, emboss that. Almost there. Thanks for sticking with me. And next Thursday, everyone, I am going to be a guest on Elizabeth Costa Rogers' channel again. Her and I are on the design team for Anthony's Papercraft. We are going to probably whip up some holiday, I think I'm going to go fall, so she might do holiday. She likes the poinsettias, but not sure what we're all going to do. But be sure to check us out on her channel next Thursday as we pair up to do some Anthony's Papercraft stuff. He's got some great designer series paper stuff out now, and he's got some new stamps coming, so we're super excited. All right, my leaves. I like a little yellow on my leaves mixed in with greens, so I'm going to add just a little yellow first and then layer this over. I'm going to just swoosh on and then dry and then layer with some green. These I'm doing kind of the same style as what I did with my first flower. Alright, then I'm just going to layer in my greens. And I usually do 2 or 3 different color greens. I usually like a matcha kind of green, a middle, and a darker. This is what I like about watercolor. I can just squish and scribble and get something out of it. And then I'll do my last one with just a little darker in there. So we'll just pick up a little here, kind of see where I'm at. That's got some blue in it. There we go. All right, get my white filled in on these. My white space that's left. Dry that, fussy cut, and we'll assemble. I'll throw a little bit more, I think, just to deepen that some. All right. Easy, 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 easy. All right. I probably should have fussy cut these out beforehand, just to have these prepped, but that's all right. They're easy. They're easy to fussy cut. No judging on my fussy cutting. I am not the greatest. I'm getting better at it, I swear, but boy, oh boy, I get too shaky. I think my brain concentrates too much, and then I get too shaky. Anybody else watching watercolor at all? Or do you even have a watercolor set? I want to show you the other one that I did here as a sample, so you can kind of see what I did with the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. Is this one. I traced with the watercolor pencils, blended it out, washed it out, retraced when it was still a little damp, retraced because I wanted a little bit more shadow, and then I washed it out, and that's what I was left with. So it stayed a little bit more pigmented around the second time of tracing it. But this was Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. This is the Mei Ling pan set. I do like this pan set. The colors are actually nice. They stay nice. They don't wash down too terribly. Wasn't terribly expensive. I think this was about a $30 set because I thought I'm not going to go super expensive for my first one until I know if I like it. I know there's much more, like these are not the expensive tube sets and things. I actually didn't understand the tube set thing. I was like, I'm just going to get this pan set because that's what I get the concept behind the pan set. All right, 1, 2, and 3. And I know myself, I better wipe this up before I always say wipe it up before I screw it up because I'm a set something down in something kind of person and ruin it or get a fingerprint on it. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to throw my sentiment on before we assemble this. I'm going to go black on my sentiment. Okay, and what I do. Alright, I think I said the with thanks is what I left the room for. And let's do with thanks. Line that up the best I can. Show you my gray hairs coming in. Alright. I'm going VersaFine because I like the VersaFine with my sentiments. It just isn't as heavy as a pigment. I feel like my Memento gets a little thick and heavy. This seems to work really well with my thinner sentiments. No pressure here just because I don't want to squish that down. I'm going to do it one more time. Like so. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Kind of washed that pink and stuff a little bit. I'm going to do one thing. I can't resist it. I've got to do one quick thing. Now that I'm looking at it in the camera, I got to do one thing. We're going to try it. Hopefully it doesn't screw this up because now I'm going to go a little further with this. I'm going to throw a little gold on there. It's drying up so it's a little thick and I just want to throw a little bit of flecks of gold, I think. Okay, so, I just want this super thin. I went super, super thin. I'm just going for a little shimmer. So it spreads out that shimmer. Oh, see, I like that. Now I'm going to do a little thicker because here's what I want to do. I want to just slightly trace where those colors met. Where I have the veining. I'm just going to add some like veining in here. I picked up my gold. It's almost dry, but it's got some thickness to it. Wet it down, and I'm just dipping where it's a little thicker in here yet to get that heaviness for the veining. I'm going to add a pretend vein right through here. Oh, I like that. I like that. You know how we are. You change as you go, right? You got one vision, you end with another. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. I love it. All right, I'm gonna layer this on black. I'm gonna dry this just a little bit before I push my fingers into that beautiful gold stuff. This probably would look good with some black splatter. I'm not going to add it because I feel like if I keep adding, I'm going to ruin it. I think the black would have looked nice though with my black sentiment. Alright, 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 alright. Not too shabby for a late Thursday evening, if you ask me. Who do I have with me? I've got 4 of you left, 5 of you left. I don't know if Melissa and Jim are still in the house. I can't see who's on, but who do I have with me that's left? Just give me a little shout out and say hi. Who's watching me? Just out of curiosity. So I cut this so I would just have a pretty thin border all the way around. Not a super thick border on here. Okay. Put my heavy brick. Bueller, anybody there? All right. All right. Oh, I forgot a card base. Stand by. I gotta grab a card base. It's the one thing I forgot in my little frazzlement at the beginning, trying to get my cameras to work prior to going live. All right. Throw this on my base, and then we're going to layer up those leaves and the other flower. Like so. When I want a full card front, I cut just slightly smaller because I don't like it when it goes all the way to the edge. Because I feel like I always end up having to trim some off or it's hanging off, so I just always go slightly smaller than my card base. Oh, hi Deb. Thanks for hanging on a late Thursday evening. All right. Like so. Now, I'm going to throw this up here. And I think I'm going to keep my leaves. Let me see if I want to do this. I'm going to glue these down and I'm going to keep one glued to this. Okay? So I have them peeking out of these little empty spots here. Just like so. Hey Pat, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. And then I'm going to glue this one under, wrong side, that's alright. We'll do that. We're going to glue this one to this one. And now I'm going to throw that up on dimensionals. This is where my dimension comes in. So, easy technique. Slightly something different, right? So we're not coloring everything in like the flower that I'm working on right now. Just gives you something different. I'm going to take that one out just a little bit. I wonder if I want to go that. No, we're going to go up this way. I'm going to just give that a little angle. And there you have it. Wow, wow, wow. I love it. Lots of shimmer. Did some gold veining. Did my pink and purple. I probably could have did a little more contrasting. I probably could have did the yellow and then a pink or purple on the top and yellow and purple or yellow and pink underneath to get it contrasted. But that's okay. And there you have it. That is my card. Super easy, super simple, with some dimension in there. Now, remember, Tim Holtz watercolor pencils, same thing. Can wash that out. I black splattered it. I redid it around to get a more shadow, but I could have blended that out a little bit more. You can see I did some with green, I did some with that purpley color. And then this technique and this technique are the same. I just left more white space because I had a smaller stamp. This covered so much that I just went off the edge, right? So I have a full panel kind of on this one. But that is it. There you have it. That is my, that is my watercolor reverse technique or watercolor negative technique. So on this one I kind of did both, right? So I did my reverse or negative watercoloring underneath, and I did my regular watercolor on this one, okay? So I did both techniques here. This one and this one are just your reverse or negative watercolor. All right. That's it for a Thursday evening. Thank you so much, you guys, for sticking around. I appreciate it. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. I've got almost 100 videos out, I think, now. Would love to have you keep watching, so feel free to subscribe. And thanks for hanging with me on a Thursday night. And don't forget, next Thursday I will be with Elizabeth Costa-Rogers with Sassy Classy, I think she goes by. We're going to be featuring Anthony's paper craft together and see what we come up with. I think we're going fall holiday theme and featuring some new stuff, and what else can you do with his stamps to look outside the box with what they're really made for. So hope to have you guys there on Thursday 3 p.m. So it's Thursday afternoon, much earlier than this one. But all right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.